my name is Shannon Sellers with Coastal and Main Travel Company, and I'll be walking you through how I Travefy to close the sale. First, let's dive into a proposal. It's important to make sure that the guest can quickly understand the key information. In the proposal, most guests will skim first and dig into the details later. So, presenting a clear high level overview helps them get excited about the trip right away. So, you want to use the info and summary sections as efficiently as possible, definitely to catch their attention and just make sure they're engaging with your proposal. So, you can see I have some really simple, easy to read, easy to understand titles for my info section. So, we've got Planning Made Simple. This just gives them an overview of what to expect when working with you. They're going to see their flight information, general resort information, some bars and dining and entertainment, exclusive experiences for the resort, their room category, and then let's make it official. It gives them the pricing breakdown and the next steps if they want to move forward working with you. The biggest thing that I would suggest when also creating your proposal, just to make sure that they are engaging with it, is to add visuals to create excitement. So, for example, I'll click in the Dine and Delight. You will see that the very first image that I have on here is sushi. So, during my consultation call with this particular guest, they said how much they absolutely love sushi. So it was important for me to select a resort that did have some type of sushi available. And also, I'm trying to paint a picture for them to select this resort. So I wanted to go ahead and add sushi as the first image they are going to see. So when you include strong images of the destination or something they specifically said that they wanted, it can spark interest before the guest even starts reading. People connect emotionally with visuals, so let the proposal sell the dream at a glance. Also, I don't know if you are on the latest Travefy training, but you can now add up to 10 images as well, which is great. So don't feel like you're maxed out on just a couple. You can add up to 10 to really showcase the experience that you're trying to deliver. The last thing that I really like to do is make it personal. So personalization helps turn proposals into bookings. If guests shared their must-have features during the consultation, like an oceanfront room, a specific experience or excursion, make sure to highlight them in the proposal. So in the Planning Made Simple, I like to call this out and just say it as my highlights. So when they're going through the proposal, if they see anything that's specifically highlighted, they know that that is tailored to their priority. And guests are more likely to book when they see that you've listened and you have customized the trip specifically to them. So if you happen to click back in that Dine and Delight section, you'll see I've highlighted the Mura House because that is something that is going to have sushi, which they specifically wanted in the 24-hour room service. They talked a lot about wanting to hang out at a swim up bar during the day. So all of these things that we have specifically talked about during their consultation call are highlighted here as well. So it just gives that extra personal touch. After the proposal is sent, the next crucial step is follow-up. This is where many proposals either move forward or start losing momentum. So having a follow-up strategy is essential. Using Travefy tasks for reminders will set you up for success. Set up task reminders inside Travefy to stay organized. This feature will automate your follow-up process. A consistent follow-up system shows professionalism and prevents leads from slipping through the cracks. So let's walk through how to create your task list for reminders. So once you are in your library, you're going to go to New Library Item and then create a task list. You can name it whatever you want. We'll just name it Proposal Follow-Up for today. And honestly, before I do any type of lists that are going to incorporate multiple features in Travefy, I like to write a list out first of how I want it to be organized. So that way, when I go in and actually create everything, I kind of have a template to work off of so I know what I need to create. So we've got the proposal follow-up, and then we need to think about what we want to automate and what tasks we want to add. So I love the add automation feature because then you can just do an email itinerary invite. There are some other options in here, but at the moment, we're just going to create emails. So you'll just type your message in, just something like you wanted to follow up. Do they have any additional questions? And then you will do your date. You'll notice that I'm going to do 1 day after the itinerary start date. I'll touch on how to make this work with your dates later on. But for now, we're just going to do the 1 date after itinerary start. You've got your message. I'm just adding that for now, following up. So then we can see in our list, we've got an automatic itinerary invite. So the guest is going to be emailed that message, hey, following up 1 day after the start date. Just to give you an example, this is actually my follow-up list. So you can see I like to follow up 1 day after, 3 days, and then a week and 14 days after. So all of these are kind of the generic messages I'm sending. I hope you're doing well, wanted to follow up. If anybody ever needed these, I do believe that I have them shared into the marketplace where you would be able to just save this yourself so you don't have to recreate the wheel. I like to do several emails following up. And then I also have a note for myself 15 days after to archive the proposal. So that's a task that's created for me. And then I also have some automated chats in here too, because I want to get them using Travefy and get familiar with it, especially if they decide to book, then they're getting really familiar with the system from the very beginning. Now that we've created the task list, we need to apply it to the proposal or there's really no point in having the task list. So once you get back into your proposal, on the left-hand side, you are going to see where it says tasks and automations. You want to go ahead and click on that. And then on the right-hand side, hit add. And then you'll see it says task list. So any task list that you have created, you're going to see drop down here. So this is the original one that I had said I had created. So I have added that in. So now you're going to see that the proposal was created today, and then at 9 a.m. tomorrow, the guest is going to be emailed that, hey, just following up, you have any questions? Have you had time to review it? And then they're also going to get a chat just checking in. Usually I like to have the chat message be a little bit more fun and playful and a little more engaging, kind of like a text message would be. And then I like the email to be a little bit more formal. So you can see the guest is going to be followed up day 1, day 3, day 7, day 14. And then I have my task in here at the bottom to archive the proposal. So this is what it's going to look like when you add your task list. I do want to point out with the proposal, I am just going to go ahead and get back in the trip because I want to show you to be able to have everything deploy automatically with the task list. It's really important that you assign a date to the proposal. Otherwise, it won't autofill the dates for you. You can manually do it, but I like to automate everything as much as possible because it leaves a lot less room for error. So you will see on the proposal at the bottom that my Let's Make It Official actually has a date of September 11th on it. I like using it on the actual proposal slide because then it doesn't get confusing to the guests. Like, why am I welcoming to paradise on September 11th when my trip is, not going to be until March of next year? So I like doing it because then it timestamps this is the date your proposal was created. And by doing that, you can just go into settings and then proposal start date. You just pick today's date. And then usually it will say save, but I already have today's date in there. So that is how you will go ahead and set up your follow-up process to your proposal. So that way you're ensuring that the guest is being followed up with through the whole process. The last section that we're going to talk about is getting the proposal in the guest's hands. To make sure proposals actually get to the guests, you'll start by using Travefy's new email integration feature. So once you have actually gone ahead and linked your email account into Travefy, I just want to show you one little tip that made a huge difference for me. And if you didn't happen to catch this update, I want to make sure you do. So you'll go into your profile and then head on down to account. And then from here, you're going to go to linked accounts and then click on email. So you're going to see now it says select the email Travefy should send from. This is optional, but to me, it's extremely important that you change it. So originally, you and your guests were receiving emails from a default email through Travefy. And if you were like me, you always had to tell your guests, make sure to save this email address so it goes to junk or spam. But now you have the capability to assign it to your email address. And again, you can only do this once you've connected your email account. But as you can see below, I've already done that. So I'm able to select. So now when guests get those email follow-ups from me that we created in that task list, they're actually getting it from Shannon@coastaldomain.com and not a generic email address. To me, this is important because it also keeps your branding front and center. So guests always see your name, email, business name. It just comes across very professional. So make sure that if you haven't already selected your email address to be your personal one, to make sure to do that. Next, take advantage of the proposal activity feature inside each trip. This shows when a guest has opened the proposal, removing the guesswork about whether it was received or even reviewed. So once you are in the proposal, if you go over to the left-hand side under trip menu, you can actually click on trip activity. This is going to show you timestamps if it has been opened, if it's been viewed, which is great because then once it gets to a certain point, if a guest has reviewed it, they're not following up with your emails that are being sent, or if you reach out, via text or phone, if you're just basically being ghosted and you can see that they have reviewed it after the task list has gone through with the follow-up process, I definitely at that 15-day mark, go ahead and hide the proposal. You can tell that they are reviewing the information that you've been sent. But then sometimes I'll look on here and I can see it's not been viewed at all. So I like to even just give them a call or send them a text message and just say, hey, in your inbox should be a curated proposal for you. Just want to make sure you saw that. I honestly haven't had such an issue since changing it to my email address about it going to junk or spam, but it can obviously always happen. So I always recommend looking at this trip activity section just to make sure that they actually have reviewed the proposal. The last thing that I like to do is I honestly don't like just to rely on email alone. I like to send the proposal link via text as well. The guests are so much more likely to open up a text versus an email, and they are generally going to open it a lot faster. So in the Travefy Pro app, if you open the trip and you tap on the box with the little up arrow at the top and select copy shareable link, that is how you can go ahead and directly text the guests a link to their curated proposal. I recommend saving a simple text template so you can just copy and paste it in there, and that way you will not have to recreate the wheel every time. Just do your little generic message, add their shareable link, and then they also will now have your contact information and an easy way to get a hold of you as well. Thank you for following along. Hopefully these tips help you streamline your proposal process and stay organized and close more bookings using Travefy. I'm Shannon Sellers, and this is how I Travefy.